I was 24 years old when I discovered a dusty wooden box hidden in my grandmother's attic. At first, I wasn't even supposed to be there. My grandmother had recently moved into a nursing home, and my parents asked me to clean out the house before it was sold. Most of the attic contained exactly what you'd expect: old clothes, broken lamps, photo albums, and boxes filled with things nobody had touched in decades. Then I noticed a small wooden chest tucked behind an old rocking chair. Written on the lid in faded black ink were 3 words: "For Emily only." Emily was my name. I frowned. My grandmother had never mentioned a box for me. Curious, I opened it. Inside were dozens of envelopes neatly stacked together. Every single one had my name written on the front. The first letter was dated 10 years ago. I carefully unfolded the paper. "Dear Emily, I know you're probably angry with me for leaving, and I don't blame you. But I need you to know that I think about you every day. I miss watching cartoons with you and listening to you sing badly in the kitchen. I hope someday you'll forgive me. Love, Sarah." My hands started shaking. Sarah was my older sister, or at least she used to be. She disappeared when I was 14 years old. One day she was there, laughing at dinner and teasing me about my terrible grades. The next morning, she was gone. My parents told everyone she had run away. The police searched for months, but never found her. Eventually, people stopped talking about her. At family gatherings, her name became forbidden. Whenever I asked questions, my mother would cry. My father would leave the room. Over time, I convinced myself that Sarah simply didn't want us anymore. But now I was holding a letter written by her years after she supposedly disappeared. I opened the second envelope. "Dear Emily, today is your 15th birthday. I wanted to buy you the blue headphones you kept talking about, but I don't have enough money. I hope school is going well. Please don't believe everything Mom and Dad tell you." My stomach twisted. What did she mean? I kept reading. There were letters for every year: birthdays, Christmases, graduations, small moments. She wrote about getting her first apartment. She wrote about learning to cook. She wrote about adopting a cat named Oliver. She wrote about seeing girls my age and wondering how much I had grown. And in every letter, she repeated the same sentence: "I didn't leave by choice." By the time I finished reading, it was dark outside. I immediately drove to my parents' house. My mother opened the door. She smiled until she saw my face. "Emily, what's wrong?" I held up the box. "Where is Sarah?" The color drained from her face. She looked at the letters and sat down heavily on the couch. My father walked into the living room. The moment he saw the box, he closed his eyes. For a long time, nobody spoke. Finally, my mother whispered, "We wanted to protect you." "Protect me from what?" She started crying. When Sarah was 19, she told us she was moving to another state with her boyfriend. We hated him. We fought constantly. One night, your father told her if she left, she was no longer part of this family. I looked at my dad. He stared at the floor. The guilt on his face said everything. "She packed her things and left the next morning," my mother continued. "But the neighbors started asking questions. People in our town gossip. We were embarrassed. So we told everyone she had disappeared. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You lied. For 10 years? My father finally spoke. We thought she'd come back. When she didn't, the lie became impossible to fix. I clenched my fists. Then why didn't you give me these letters? My mother's sobs became louder. Because she mailed them here. Every year. And every year your father hid them. I turned toward him. Why? His voice cracked. Because I was ashamed. I didn't know how to explain what I had done. I destroyed my relationship with my daughter. And I was afraid you'd leave too. I felt sick. Sarah hadn't abandoned us. She had been trying to stay connected to me for an entire decade. She remembered every birthday, every holiday, every important moment. And I never even knew. I grabbed the latest letter. It was dated only 3 months earlier. At the bottom was something I hadn't noticed before. An address. I drove there the next morning. It was a small apartment building 3 hours away. I stood outside apartment number 12 for nearly 5 minutes before knocking. Footsteps approached. The door opened. A woman stood there holding a coffee mug. For a moment, neither of us moved. She looked older, more tired, but it was definitely Sarah. Tears filled her eyes. She whispered, "Emily?" I nodded. She dropped the mug onto the floor. Then she wrapped her arms around me so tightly that I couldn't breathe. We both cried. For 10 years, she had believed I ignored her letters. For 10 years, I believed she abandoned me. All because 2 people couldn't admit they made a terrible mistake. Later that evening, we sat together eating pizza and talking about everything we had missed. She showed me photos of her apartment, pictures of her cat, videos from birthdays I never attended. And before I left, she handed me a new envelope. Written across the front were the words, "Letter number 1." I smiled. "What's this for?" She laughed softly. "So we never lose each other again." And for the first time in 10 years, I finally felt like I had my sister back.